Got it. Okay, it is 5:32 on this computer. I'm trying to promote everyone quickly. Okay. Raise your hand if you still need to be promoted to panelist, and if you could lower it when you have been. Okay, if everyone could check the attendance sheet, Jay, if you could share that in the chat, or I think it's on the agenda. Yeah, page 3 of the agenda. If everyone can go ahead. 1 second. Thank you for that. Uh, Naomi or Jay, do you want to share screen for the slides we have? Jay, okay. Sorry. It's being shared. Yes. I don't know whose Chrome I'm logged into. Okay, and with that, I believe we have quorum. If we can go ahead and begin, this is the Graduate Student Association. Okay, sorry. Here, I can bring you the mic. You want to stand or no?
I'll stand for now, yeah.
Okay, let me get through.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for making it out to the second forum meeting for the fall quarter for week 3. Um, yeah, now we have enough attendees uh, for quorum. We've made quorum. Let's go ahead and move on to the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda that has been sent out to the delegates for today?
I'll motion to approve. This is Gabriella. I'm online.
Thank you, Gabriella. Do we have a motion or do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Naveen.
Thank you, Naveen. All right, with that, let's go ahead and vote. Those that are in favor of approving the agenda, please raise your hand. Oh, okay, please lower your hands. Those against approving the agenda, please raise your hand. Okay, those that abstain. Okay. All right, with that, the agenda has been approved. Let's go ahead and move on to the approval of the minutes for the previous meeting. You can see the minutes hyperlinked in the agenda. those that are, well, we'll need a motion to approve the minutes. We have a motion to approve the minutes by Byron. All right, do we have a second? We have a
Second.
motion by Nelly, or seconded by Nelly. Those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand. All right, please lower your hands. Those against approving the minutes, please indicate by raising your hand. Okay, please lower your hand. And then those that abstain, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. With that, the motion passes. All right, now we will move on to public comment from GSA membership. If there are those that are attending the meeting that would like to speak just to the delegates and the body that are present today, the time is yours to do so. Okay, so with no public comment from GSA membership, we will go ahead and move on to the funding section of the agenda. Yes.
Okay, cool. Hey, folks. So we have the discretionary funding on the agenda. And so right now, you can take a look at the link that's attached to the agenda. But basically, for discretionary funding, we have like formal guidelines for this year. For the organizations that want to apply for discretionary funding, they just have to be sole registered. They can apply up to 3 times per quarter for the discretionary fund. And then we have the remaining guidelines that are on there. We want to try and get this approved today if possible. So if you do have any questions, I'm happy to take them so we can get out the Google Forms so that clubs can start to actually apply for discretionary funding for their events to help support them. But yeah, happy to take any questions if you do have any. And if not, then we can do a motion to approve the discretionary funding guidelines for this year. Right now, it's about 20K for the question in the chat of how much GSA has for discretionary funds this year for this fund. Yes, this is separate from your departmental funds. No problem. Okay. If there aren't any further questions, if we can get a motion, that would be great.
Thank you, Naomi.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Naveen. Do we have a second?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been seconded. All right, we will go ahead and vote on the discretionary funding guidelines. Those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Oh, yes, okay. All right, permit me one moment. Vote. Vote. Okay. All right, everyone voted. Please lower your hands. All right, those against the approving the discretionary funding guidelines, please raise your hand. Okay, and then those that abstain, please raise your hand. Okay, with that, the motion passes. Yeah, the discretionary funding guidelines have been approved. Okay, the application will be out soon per Naomi Hammonds. All right. Okay, so now we will go ahead and move on to some special presentations. We will now have an annual budget overview provided by Jessica Alexander. Yeah. Will you need to share your screen or I can
Yeah,
just,
do you mind putting it there?
yeah. Okay.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Hello, everybody. So I'm just going to go over the slides. There's also a PDF that's like your full budget. So I'm not going to go over that one. But some of the slides in this PowerPoint are just supplemental information for how we arrive at your budget. So essentially, we use data from the university to determine how much money is going to be allocated for GSA's budget. One of those figures is enrollment, projected enrollment for the upcoming term. So this is basically a snapshot of what that looks like. So we look at all the grad student enrollment totals, and then there's also a sub table that has specific degree programs where their enrollment is not captured in this main figure, but this is just a snapshot of that. You can go to the next slide. And then the other piece of information we use is your student referendum fee amounts. Yes. Oh yeah, it's not showing on the Zoom for some reason. Sorry, y'all. I can start over.
Yes.
Okay, now it's up. Can you go back one slide really quick just for the folks on Zoom? So this is a sample of what the enrollment table looks like that projects the enrollment for the upcoming year. And then we can go to the next slide. So this is your fee summary. So essentially GSA only really pays two fees that are your referendum fees that graduate students at one point elected to pay. So the main one is the Graduate Students Association fee that you can see highlighted. And then there's also the Graduate Writing Center fee. The Brew and Go transit pass is also shown on here, but those funds go directly to transportation, so they're not captured within your GSA budget. Basically, the only things that hit your GSA budget are things that student government accounting and ASUCLA account for. So the Graduate Writing Center fee is a delegated fee, which basically means we collect that money and account for it, and then we disperse it to the Grad Writing Center to be able to use for their programs. And then that GSA fee is basically your main fee, where the bulk of the money for the forum and the different councils is derived from. You can go to the next slide. So the distribution for fees, again, membership fees get split between the central office, which is like the executives of GSA, and then the councils. And the council allotment is based on enrollment per academic council, which is defined in your codes. And then the Graduate Writing Center fee, like I mentioned, goes directly to that entity. So the yellow box is basically what your codes say about the distribution. So 57% of your fees go to central office, and then 43% to the councils. I think we can go to the next one. So central office base budget. We do look at prior year figures to determine how to allocate some of those funds just for different costs, like, for example, GSA events, Melnitz movies, different activities that GSA puts on as an association. So that's how some of the determinations are made for how much to budget in each of those areas. You can go to the next slide. And then the council's base budget. So we do look at the enrollment based on each council and which degree programs fall under each council. And then 75% of your prior year budget is opened at the beginning of the fiscal for you to spend. The remaining portion of funds that are available will get dispersed to councils by a means that we call apportionment, which basically we just take your actual enrollment figures and then we determine how much additional funds of whatever the pool left available will go to each council. So the 75% is mainly because we're looking at projected enrollment and we're looking at prior year figures. But enrollments may change. There may be new degree programs that come online that fall under a certain council, or degree programs that are no longer existing. So there has to be some adjustment for that once we do have the current year figures. So we are awaiting that information from the university, and then we'll bring apportionment forward at a different time this quarter. And then the next slide is the main piece of information that is most important for all of the councils is what you're starting the year with. So the fiscal year 24-25 column is basically what the total budget was from last year. And then 75% of that is what's under the column all the way on the right that says 75% of 24-25. So that's your opening budget for each council. And then you'll receive some additional piece of money once we do apportionment. But that's where your starting budget is. That's open and available right now for if you start submitting requisition forms through SGA. That's how much you can access at this point. And then this is another main piece of what gets budgeted is the stipend cost for a lot of the cabinet positions. So your director positions, all of your elected officer positions, they all are stipend recipients, and we budget that based on an estimate of a particular hourly rate and then a number of hours per week. And we basically use this calculation so that it's a little bit more uniform year to year. And the hourly rate is based on LA City minimum wage. So as LA City minimum wage goes up, that amount will go up, and the budgets will be adjusted accordingly in future terms. But these are all your director positions. And then most of the funds do come from your GSA membership fee, but some of the ones you see highlighted in yellow are basically stipends that are covered by other areas of budget. So ASUCLA gives interaction fund dollars to GSA every year, which basically come from the different sales of store, retail, food service, any of the operations of ASUCLA. The revenue that's generated goes back to the governments by interaction fund. And then the SFAC funds, so SFAC allocates annually to GSA as well, some programming and some publication funds. So that's why those particular stipend positions are highlighted, that they're covered by a different source of funding. That's not your student fee that you paid. And then another part of the administrative and support services cost to GSA is the maintenance and utilities. So we get this information from our facilities team at ASUCLA. It's a cost share among all entities. So Graduate Student Association is one of the 4 entities. Undergraduate Student Association also pays a portion of this, student media, and then the Student Run Enterprises entity. And this is basically the cost to have the office space within Kirkhoff that GSA currently has, and covers all of the costs for like any kind of maintenance or custodial support requests that would come up. We cost share annually so that when we have requests during the year, we do not get billed for that. So that's what that breakdown looks like for all the different areas. And I think that might be the last slide. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer. as best as I can, but this is just kind of a general info of how we build your budget and some of the different data points that we use. Yes, let me see. So question in the chat was the 75% column was for 25, 26, not 24, 25. Yes, that's correct. So the 75% column is your 25, 26 opening budget, but it's 75% of the prior year. So that's why it's a little bit confusingly worded. But yes, that is your current year opening budget. Good.
Yeah.
Yes, I see a question in the chat. Are we able to get funds transferred to our council accounts? If so, how? So, student government accounting is basically your accountant for your council accounts. So the funds are already open and available for you to requisition through SGA. If your council works with an academic department directly and they have a finance team and you're doing a lot of programming with them, we can issue a check to that finance department if that makes it a little bit more streamlined for folks to utilize their funds. But again, we do have to have a point of contact of that finance department. And we need to just ensure that they are able to receive the funds and then have complete oversight of the funds and their utilization. Because once they are issued by check from SGA, SGA will no longer be responsible for managing those funds or determining whether or not they're being used appropriately. So yes, if you want to reach out, we can chat offline. If that's not something your council currently does and you want to explore what that looks like, we can chat offline.
And in the chat, I also just dropped a link directly to the budget for week 0 through 2. And then there's also the link on the GSA website in the chat as well. If you go to GSA, UCLA in your web browser, the link will come up and then you go under finances.
Oh, I don't have office hours, but I can see if I can put together a Calendly link if anybody needs to schedule a meeting with me. I know my email's been a little bit spotty. I definitely have been missing some emails, so I'll drop it in the chat when I create one.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay.
Yeah. Second. Permit me one moment. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jessica, for providing the presentation on the annual budget overview. I'm assuming that part B is the PDF, which is what we'll actually be voting on. Where's Oh, I see. I see. Okay. All right. Then where is the PDF for
It should.
Yeah, if you can yeah, if or you have editor access to this agenda, I believe, so you can just hyperlink it.
Yes, I can.
Yes, and we will be voting on the annual budget once we get to the new business section, so be on the lookout for that. But for now, we will go ahead and move on. And some updates on the appointments. Naomi, would you like to handle that?
Hi again. Okay, so appointments, again, this is pretty much like a weekly thing at this point until we get them all filled. But we did make some various appointments. And so we can just do it again in one single vote. And I'll mark who's approved from this vote after. And so we would just need a motion to approve the appointments. thus far.
Motion to approve appointments.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Amazing.
All right. Those in favor of approving the appointments, please raise your hand. Okay. All right. Please lower your hands. And then those that are against approving the appointments, please raise your hand. Okay. Thank you. Please lower your hands. And then those that wish to abstain on voting on these appointments, please raise your hand. All right. Thank you. Okay. Jessica, you said you just hyperlinked it. Okay, I'm going to refresh the page.
Yeah, I replaced the link. Yes, that was it was like a duplicate.
Yeah, in the annual budget. Yeah, if you want to put it there, that would be great.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. With that, the motion to approve the appointments is passed. We will go ahead and move on to the officer reports. So first, we'll begin with administrative representatives. So Jessica Alexander, Mike Cohn, or Pamela Lewis, do you guys have any updates for us?
Just that I would mention that we're in the process and actually concluding the registration of campus organizations. There's quite a few graduate organizations and a good number of new graduate organizations that are registering, and we'll provide that information to you. We'll have it all ready to go within the next week. So you're aware of that. Also, just to mention two other things from the university end that may be of interest to you. There's a new Department of Public Safety on campus. You should have gotten an email about that went to all Bruins. I would take a look in that. There's some really good tips in terms of how to prepare yourself personally and on campus, labs, offices, other things in case of an emergency, and to make sure that all of your contact information via email, your cell phone numbers are all up to date so you can receive Bruin alerts. You should have received one this morning in some form at 10:16 a.m. with the shakeout, the annual shakeout in preparation for earthquakes. And then also, I just wanted to mention that the chancellor sent out an email to everyone about revisiting true Bruin values. And there's opportunities for students to comment and be involved in the process of potentially making changes to them after 20 years. Always good to have a graduate student voice in issues like that. So refer back to that email. And if you want to give your perspective in focus groups or sending in information, please do so and identify that you're a graduate student, because that voice is really important. Thanks.
Just a couple updates. So, I'm gonna be working to schedule some like meet and greets for councils. We're gonna hold them in different spaces on campus so that it's uh close in proximity to where your programs are located. But also happy to host any like off-site or off-campus if that's also more accessible to grad students. But really just wanting to connect with students in general, make sure they know about GSA, know about ASUCLA, understand how their student fees work. So be on the lookout for an invite. We're gonna do them by anyone's welcome to attend any of them, but we're gonna specifically invite councils that are within that region of campus. So it'll be like somewhat smaller groups, but Again, anybody's welcome to attend any of them. And it's just an opportunity for us at ASUCLA to get to know you all and see how we can better support throughout the year, particularly where funding is of concern for your council budgets and SGA and whatnot. So the first one should be happening in November, and we'll get some invites sent out for that. And then the other update I wanted to share from Pamela is that your next forum meeting on the 30th, we do not have a venue available for that date. So most likely it will be Zoom. But if you all have any plans to use your GSA central office, that just let me know. We can still do all the setup, but this room's not available, and unfortunately, none of our other venues that hold enough folks are open on that day due to scheduling conflicts. But that's it.
Perfect. Thank you both for the updates. We will now go ahead and move on to reports from our president, Naomi Hammonds. If you'd like to come up. Is this... Oh, okay.
Okay. Hey, hi, hello. Okay, so you can click on my doc if you would like to view it in real time, but I'm just going to do kind of a brief overview of some of the meetings I've had. And so some of the big kind of committees, as Mike mentioned earlier, the True Bruins Values Committee, I sit on that committee. So if you do have any concerns or anything about True Bruin values, or you would like to speak to some of the updates, happy to take that feedback as well and bring it to the larger committee. We have our police chiefs advisory council meeting. We met the new police chief, Craig Valenzuela, and just got some updates on there of crime updates for this academic year compared to last academic year, if you would like to look at those. Had a meeting with our Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Monroe Gordon, and our Dean of the Graduate Education, Dean Kite, and talked about some collaborations that we will have. One of the key things that we're working with for administration is doing some kind of fireside chats with the forum members. So last year we started started that kind of initiative of doing a fireside chat with at the time interim Chancellor Darnell Hunt and Vice Chancellor Monroe Gordon. I've gone ahead and scheduled our first Chancellor fireside chat that will be in November. So you'll be seeing a invite from me soon. It will be November 6th from 4 to 5 p.m. So we'll be inviting your delegates to that to bring questions to the Chancellor. We'll have a form for putting in your questions prior to. And then once I have the location, I will be sending out more information soon. So we tried to schedule a little bit earlier because I know some of the feedback from last year is like it coincided with some of our semester representatives, like exams. So we tried to do it a little bit in earlier November. Had some other meetings. Some of the big things we've done this week is we're doing a homecoming football ticket giveaway. I do have some on me, so if you do want a ticket to the football game, just let me know and I can get you one after today's meeting. And then we've had some other events that we're working on. And then we're about to announce soon, we're going to do a week of events for October 27th through the 31st, including our Nets grad bar. So please stay on the lookout for more information on that so you can spread it to your peoples. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Naomi. All right. With that, we will go ahead and yes, and then we'll go ahead and move on to my report, Vice President of Internal Affairs. I'm going to go ahead and just open it up here. So, as was mentioned by Jessica, the Bruin Viewpoint Room will not be available the next meeting, which is 2 weeks from now. So the next forum meeting will be held entirely online. Please go ahead and use the same link provided in the Google Calendar invite as well as the GSA forum agenda that I send out to you guys. So please be on the lookout for that. In addition, I wanted to provide some clarifications on the attendance sheet that's being provided on the GSA forum agenda. So a council's alternate delegate should only sign in the attendance sheet if a primary delegate is absent from the forum meeting. So this would mean that, like, if you're looking at the Google Sheet in front of you, there should only be one name per row for each council. So as an example, if the Math and Physical Sciences Council has 3 votes apportioned to them, then only a combination of 3 primary and alternate delegates. So it could be all 3 primary, or 1 primary and 2 alternates, or any combination of the 3 or the 2 groups should place their names on that attendance sheet. Any surplus delegates will not be counted towards quorum, and they will not participate in the voting body for that forum, but are welcome to attend regardless as attendees and not necessarily panelists. So yes, just wanted to provide that clarification. Just make sure we're not overcounting towards quorum and overcounting votes in these meetings. Additionally, I wanted to provide some more logistic updates. So I did send out an invite for fall quarters GSA meetings to each of the emails as well as to some existing council emails. If you have not received that information, please reach out to me. I know there are a lot of technological issues that I've been running into, so I would like to thank you very much for your patience with that. So up to now, I also have compiled delegates' contact information in Google Contacts and then sent communications by Gmail and then BCCing the delegates. But with some communications being lost, I am considering using Google Groups and creating an actual listserv to provide GSA forum updates and sending agenda meeting information. And so I'm curious if delegates would be for or against that. You can just voice your concerns now or in the chat if a listserv would serve to your benefit more than just a direct email. I'll pull up the chat as well. Just email, okay. All right, any other thoughts? Email is good, okay. All right, then I won't, I will probably hold off on an actual listserv. But if we are running into issues where things are getting lost, then I will revisit this this listserv idea again. Yeah, I just want to make sure that things are working technologically as smooth as possible for us to make sure that people are getting the most out of forum. Okay. Then in addition, so the consultant's recommendations for updating the GSA codes and constitution have been provided. I did make a brief summary of changes that I had proposed and worked on over the summer. You can refer to my week 1 notes for a summary of those. Are there any updates, Jessica, on that by chance?
Not as of yet, but I will check in with our student to see where she's at on putting them in a format that is digestible for everybody to just vote on. So we're still working on that. So hopefully by the next forum meeting, we'll have it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see what else. Okay, yes, hopefully so by week 5, so the meeting on October 30th, we will have that provided well in advance for you all to review, and then we will be able to make motions and vote on those changes as needed. And then lastly, I actually just made a GSA YouTube channel. You'll see a link here on my report, but it's also on page 3 of the GSA forum agenda. This is just for publishing recorded GSA forum meetings. I know on the USAC side of things, they live stream their forum meetings. I was curious if forum delegates or the membership of each of the councils would be interested in a live stream option for these meetings as well. Again, this is just for you guys to just share your thoughts in the chat. No need to make a motion or vote on or anything like that. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Sure, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, we will go ahead and explore our options for live streaming. We just, again, want to make sure things run technologically smooth. Okay, for some social sciences councils using YouTube, open to it, concerned if bad actors might crash in. I think it would be like a YouTube live stream. I don't know how susceptible it is. Huh? Oh, just comments. Okay. Well, yeah, we get mods. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and start exploring that option for live streaming. But since this seems to be of interest to various delegates and councils within GSA, it's definitely something that I will be looking into. Regardless, recordings of the forum meetings will be published every time. And this account for the channel will be under my email, the VPI email, just to ensure that there's a smooth transition between people that are holding this office. Are there any final questions or comments or concerns about the report that I've presented so far? Okay. Okay. Well, if not, with that, I end my reports. We'll go ahead and continue on. We will go ahead and have Satara come and share her reports for the Office of Vice President of Academic Affairs.
What? I think. Does it work? Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'll be going over my report for VP of Academic Affairs. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so just to start, this is just some information from the grad council meeting, from the grad council committee. Okay, yeah, so this is just some information from the grad council committee meeting that happened last week. One thing that they mentioned is doing academic program reviews, which is also part of the academic program review committee. And I just redacted the name of the programs just for confidentiality purposes, but essentially they reviewed 3 master's programs that are specifically self-supporting programs. And the main issues that were raised relating to these 3 programs was that one program specifically, they had over concentration in a specific track or specific classes. And while that track was getting a lot of participation and overflow of classes, the other classes or other tracks were actually getting very low participation or low involvement. And that was just creating a conflict. There was also another example was a timing conflict with the capstone. So with certain programs, for example, one that they were reviewing, students actually had to complete a summer capstone since it was a 1-year program, but other students were saying that was interfering with internship and employment opportunities. And then some other things that were raised was some student dissatisfaction. Some requested more flexibility in scheduling or program requirements. A few other things that were discussed was administrative and financial struggles. So different university procedures with delaying hiring or staff compensation. And then another specific example that was raised by a program was student preparation. So even though that program had remedial referrals or had students that would retake the entrance exam, students were still lacking the skills required for coursework. So these committees or the academic program review committee had basically just given their recommendations regarding these problems or struggles that they were having. And so the grad council just approved the recommendations that they had. And then the other thing that they had reviewed was the policy on the use of online program management companies, also called OPMs. And this was just going over like the different partnerships that are considered OPMs. And just to give some more clarity on that. So essentially what the policy was stating is that a course, like a campus course, must clearly define instructors in the OPM and essentially just define any partnerships between UCLA and an OPM. So essentially just stating you need to be very clear with when students are registering for the course that they are using an OPM in this course and these are the instructors affiliated with that. And essentially in this policy, the definition of an OPM is stated as, or as you can read here, a third-party contractor that offers services, and this basically enables colleges to give online educational content. So the examples that they were giving is including instruction, course development, recruitment, marketing, technical support, and student support services. And what I was thinking when I was reading that definition was, oh, it's probably like a Coursera or a Pearson related course. But the main discussion that was brought up in the council was that the definition of an OPM is unclear, since some people in the council were suggesting, oh, when I think of that, I think of Canvas or something else that probably wouldn't be considered an OPM. So that was just the main thing that they had. And then the only other thing is some event ideas I have that I want to host throughout the year. So just wanted to hear your feedback, or if something like this already exists, I do need to do more research on that. But some just included getting lunch with a professor that students could potentially nominate that they think is a really great professor, so students could get lunch with them. An academic affairs summit. I think there was a research summit done last year, I believe, or over the past several years. So I would want to redo that as well. So kind of just a conference style event where students could present like any projects or research that they had, and this could be open to all students or anyone who's interested in attending. A study, like kind of like a community study or a study jam. So closer to finals week, having or partnering with different campus partners or orgs to host a study night. So just having that community for students to come together. And then I do need to do more research on this. I'm not sure if something like this exists already, but a textbook and material equity drive. So just collecting donations for textbooks or negotiating with the bookstore for textbook lending. And this could be through the GSA. And these were just some ideas. So just wanted to hear feedback on that, or if anyone had any suggestions or questions. If not, I'll hand it back to Jay. Oh, sorry. There is a comment. Okay. This is saying, I think a how to graduate school event, for example, getting started in research, finding an advisor, balancing between courses and research might be good. Okay. I'll definitely take note of that. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. And then if there's no other comments, I'll hand it back to Jay.
Okay, many thanks to Satara for her report. Let's go ahead and go back to the agenda. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to Jack Fung. Is that yes? Jack Fung's report for the Office of Vice President of External Affairs.
All right, thank you, everybody. Hi, my name is Jack Finn and serve as External Vice President. So if you click the report and go to the tab that says Fall 2025, you will see the report I'm presenting. So good news, to begin with some good news. So over the past few months, part of my team has been mobilizing our students to really to try to secure some of these legislative wins for UCLA students. And we secured 9 major legislative victories and in key areas, including undocumented immigrant student support, housing development, LGBTQ plus mental health, basic needs. Okay, click the report. Basic needs, student parent support, overdose prevention, more. Among the 10 bills we supported, unfortunately, one of them got vetoed, which would have expanded access to basic CalFresh basic needs. So more to come. And so I met with the coalition partners and legislative champions in Sacramento on October 13th, which was the deadline for the governor to sign or veto these bills. So I expressed the gratitude to our partners for their leadership, for their commitment doing all this work throughout this past legislative session. But our discussion also centered on our students' continued priorities, unmet needs, and explore potential opportunities for deeper student engagement for the upcoming 2026 legislative process. So, at any time, you can reach out to me. I have my email address on the letterhead. If you have any great ideas, input, trying to make something happen for our students in the state level through our state legislature, because I believe California, we have some great potential to do something good for our students. Just write an email to me, and I will be, tuning in for your ideas. On October 10, I co-hosted the Supervido Transit Corridor, which is another very critical local project that has been in development over the past few years. And GSA, we are a huge advocate for urging the Metro Board of Directors to select alternatives 4 and 5, the real options, with a direct station on campus. And the rally was joined by LA City Council women, Move LA Director, Culver City Vice Mayor, West Hollywood Mayor, and UAW members and student advocates. So it is a diverse and citywide broad coalition. So on October 10th, the same day, I also had the first monthly 30-minute meeting, USAC, Undergraduate Student Association Council, and GSA presidents, and EVP joint meeting with UCLA Chancellor Frank and Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs Gordon. And then we discussed these following topics. We're trying to elevate our student voices, really trying to make positive changes for our students. The SB 98, which is actually a bill that has been signed, and my office has supported over the past few months, that would require campus to send out notice to our students, faculty, and staff when ICE is confirmed on campus. And we also discussed some other issues, in light of all these federal attacks. and also another issue we touched on was the UCLA Police Department August Community Town Hall as part of the state law requirement for the military equipment request to the regions. Yesterday in Oakland, California, I had the first quarterly 45 minutes meeting on behalf of UCLA GSA as part of UC Graduate Professional Council Board meeting with UC President Milliken. And we discussed four main areas. The first major thing is SB 98 because the consensus in the system and across UC campus is to rely on UC Office of the President to implement a plan to protect our undocumented immigrant and international students in that context. We also talk about other things related to military equipment inventory under the state law requirement, the data sharing incident at Berkeley and minority saving institution diversity funding issues as well. And in these meetings, we continue to elevate our student voices, making sure the institutions are held accountable, making sure the institutional transparency is honored. And so on the other hand, there are a few upcoming confirmed events and opportunities. So on October 22nd, on campus at 5:30 to 7:30, so in collaboration with Undergraduate Student Association Council, EVP, my undergraduate counterpart, we're hosting a civic engagement forum event to talk about what this Proposition 50 is really about. How are we trying to get students engaged and informed on voting, on participating in this election? And there will be food served. So if you're interested, or if you know anybody who will be interested, RSVP now. And there's a link there. Another opportunity in local community relations. So Culver City Transportation Department, they are looking for UCLA student voices for a project to improve Sepulveda Boulevard. So the goal is really to make sure our student needs and priorities, in terms of public transit and accessibility are reflected in their city planning as well. So if you know anybody, let them know, contact me as well. And there's a student ambassador program for Sepulveda Transit Corridor. Similar, but it's a different metro project as well. So at the UC level, we have an opportunity. It's called UC Advocacy Network. So to be the student ambassador, you would actually have the opportunity to work with UC Advocacy team, UC Office of President to leverage a lot of networks to amplify our student voices at the state and federal levels. And the application is open now, and the deadline is October 31st. So if you know anyone who's interested, forward it to them as well. And one last thing. So Regents meeting, the next one is happening in November at UCLA. So every 2 months, the Board of Regents, they meet at either UCSF or UCLA, and there's amazing a program called STAR, Student Advocates Regents. So you can apply with travel support, with meal voucher support, and you can learn more about it, about this program through all these hyperlinks, and hopefully you'll be interested and available to elevate our student voices through these awesome opportunities. And thank you. So if you have any questions, let me know, and you have my contact info. You can always email me, DM me on Instagram, etc. Thank you.
All right. Many thanks to Jack for your report. Okay. All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next section, which is old business, but we have no old business to address. So we'll go ahead and move on to section 10, new business. And here's where a lot of the voting is going to take place. So as mentioned previously, we are going to vote on the annual budget linked, in section A of new business. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up for us to look at. And I know it's small, a little bit difficult to see at this point, but this is the official document that we will be voting on. And we had the overview in the special presentation section. So with that, is there a motion to vote to approve the annual budget for this academic year?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, the motion has been approved, motioned and seconded. Those in favor of approving the annual budget, please raise your hand.
I think I just had one comment on this.
Oh, yes, please go ahead.
This is just from the Anderson Student Association. Naomi, is now a good time to.
Yes, please go ahead.
So just to give everybody some context, I've been in contact with Naomi and Jay about what happened, but our rollover funds, which I think were about $19,000, did not roll over to the Anderson Student Association. We're still trying to figure out what happened in the approval process. So maybe Naomi and Jay might have actually more context on that. So we are asking for your support in rolling that $19,000 back to the Anderson Student Association. Obviously, we budgeted this last year in our budget. They're vital to, making our students have the, experience that they deserve to have. We have a lot of plans to partner with other graduate programs. We already are paying for and combining with the law school this weekend for a homecoming. And obviously, we hope to partner on a lot of additional events. So we have 4 cabinet members there, 2 in person today. I unfortunately am attending a funeral. Otherwise, I'd be there in person to speak with you all. But Hannah and Jesse, if there's anything else you want to say on behalf of Anderson, I'll let you guys speak now.
Okay. Yes, I can yield time to whoever would like to speak on that. If not, Jessica, is there any comment that you would like to make regarding those numbers?
Yes. So, well, what I can say now is that that amount is not part of this budget. This is your current 25-26 fiscal year budget, which is current year fees. So any carryover amounts would be voted upon when carryover does come forward at that point of the year when we've concluded audit. So now today in this vote is not the time to address that issue, but we definitely can chat offline and see if there's other ways that we can help make those funds available. I'm not sure what happened with the requisition situation, but generally, per your codes, 1 year prior carryover is retained to the council year to year. So generally, those funds would be available and would be coming back to your council account. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen until we have concluded audit and we know what those carryover numbers are. But we may have alternative solutions that can still help out, but we just need to review that and chat offline. And then if it makes sense, probably your next forum meeting would be when I would recommend to have that conversation. And if you need to vote on something, you can vote then.
Okay, great. I didn't know if today was the voting day, because if this is the 25-26 budget, this would be for the prior year rollover budget. So you're correct.
Yeah, yeah. And this budget that you're voting on doesn't have any prior year money at all in it.
Okay.
This is just, I mean, it shows you prior fiscal years what was like what the budget was last year, but that's more an information point. The column of data is basically that far right column. That's the budget that we're working with. That is your 25-26 fiscal. So yeah, even though there is a column that does say prior year budget on here, that's just a data point for when we're budgeting for the current. So basically it's only that far right column.
Okay.
That is the money
Got
that you're
it.
voting on right now. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any other quick comments or thoughts? Okay. If not, I would be, given that the vote was interrupted. But regardless, thank you, Kelly, for your for speaking out, and thank you, Jessica, for the clarification. I would be remiss if I went on with the vote, so I would like to go ahead and recall for the vote since it's been motioned and seconded. Those that are in favor of approving the annual budget, given the clarifications, please raise your hand. Okay, please lower them. All right, thank you. Those that are against the approval of this annual budget, please raise your hand. Okay. And then those that abstain from voting on the approval of the budget, please raise your hand. Okay. Thank you. All right, with that, I believe the motion is approved, and the annual budget is approved for this academic year. Sorry, the agenda format got a little. Sorry, there's a lot of white space. Hold on. Oh. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, with that, we will go ahead and move on. Naomi, you have some new business regarding the Chancellor's Fireside Chat.
Cool. Okay. So this is just to reiterate that the Chancellor's Fireside Chat will be hosted on November 6th, 4 to 5 p.m. We're still working on the location. I just really want you to put that in your calendar now, just like block it away. I will send out an email soon to have the form for the formal RSVP once we find out the location, and then for a place for you to submit your questions. So it'll be November 6th, which is a Thursday, from 4 to 5 p.m. Okay. And so that'll be a time where we can ask questions to the chancellor, and both the vice chancellor of student affairs will be there. Definitely want representation from both graduate and professional students. I don't believe we had many professional students last year, so it'd be really great to come, give your feedback, have those questions ready. So I really just wanted to reiterate that again in a separate agenda item, just to make sure it's on your calendars. Unfortunately, he tends not to like the meetings recorded, but I will definitely ask. And it will be pre-submitted questions, and that will be answered. And then maybe time for a brief Q&A at the end. Okay? Are there any questions about that? Okay, be on the lookout for your email. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Okay, perfect. Well, okay, this section requires no voting, so we will go ahead and move on to the Bruin Parenting Scholars Resolution. And Naomi, you'll be.
Okay. So I've worked closely with the Bruin Parenting Scholars since I was an undergrad in student government. And so definitely if you've had a chance to kind of look over the resolution, our parenting scholars at UCLA have navigated quite some difficult challenges over the years. And so we've had communications in various meetings about some of their ask, and we wanted just to formalize it into this resolution and call upon the administration for better transparency and some of the needs that our Bruin parenting scholars are asking for. And so this resolution reflects that. Is quite short, so I'm not going to read through it, but definitely you can take a look at some of the demands that are towards the end of the resolution. And we have our sponsors. Thank you to Jay and Matty from our Student Interest Board as well for being able to bring this to the table for today. And yeah, that's a little bit about that. I'm happy to try and answer any questions that I could also bring to the Bruin Parenting Scholars about this, if you do have any. Yeah.
Just some feedback on the resolution language in the let it be resolved clauses. It is best practice to say let it be resolved that the GSA shall urge UCLA or advise UCLA, because this is a resolution of GSA as a body. The let it be resolved UCLA shall and let it be resolved UCLA advises will need to be revised to say GSA urges UCLA to commit to transparency and GSA advises UCLA to.
I will add those changes right now.
Thank you.
I guess, yeah, if we were making those edits, do we then vote? I'm not familiar with the procedure at this point.
Yeah, you can accept friendly amendments and do it in real time and then vote once it's amended.
I see. Great. All right. Are there additional comments or necessary edits for the document? Yeah, I will also refer to the chat. Okay, I don't see anything. Great. All right. So those edits, with the edits that have been made, is there a motion to vote on the Bruin Parenting Scholars Resolution presented today? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Great. Okay. Now with that, those in favor of approving the Bruin Parenting Scholars Resolution, please raise your hand. Great. All right, please lower your hands. Those against, please raise your hand. All right, those that abstain, please raise your hand. Okay. With that, the resolution passes. Okay. Now we will go ahead and move on. I will go ahead and bring this, provide a brief introduction. So as part of GSA, we have the Student Interest Board, and the Student Interest Board is comprised of various graduate student interest or graduate student affinity groups that can provide some additional representation of the graduate student body within the GSA forum and within within UCLA as well. And so we have another group, the Advanced Degree Consulting Club, that has submitted a petition with all the necessary documentation to be presented and voted on in forum. And with that, we have some people from the ADCC that are going to provide a very brief presentation, and then we'll be able to field questions from forum delegates. So please, I yield time to you for this brief presentation. I can manage the slides. So okay.
Want an extra mic? You don't have to share. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Zitian Andy Wang, and I am a fourth-year PhD student in bioinformatics. I'm also the president of UCLA Advanced Degree Consulting Club. So we are a graduate student organization focusing on career development, specifically in the field of management consulting. So management consulting is a career path that is open to all students from all backgrounds. In humanities, in STEM, such as myself in bioinformatics, we can all do very well in this career. What do we do? So basically, when we have a client, such as a biotech startup, they come to consulting companies, and then we, as the consultants, work with our client to work together through some business problems, like launching a new product or entering a new market. So it's really a collaborative work environment to get things done, to achieve stuff. Over the past year, we expanded our club to 270 plus active club members with the help from GSA, which we really appreciate. You know, the job market now is tough, and there's also a lot of uncertainties. But I believe it's especially during these times, we should move forward together, we should collaborate, and we should unite. UCLA ADCC is committed to that mission. With the partnerships we have formed across Southern California, with, for example, University of Southern California, Caltech, UCSD, and BCLA, we have hosted a series of events, and of course, with our internal collaboration with GSA, with Career Center, we have really facilitated the career development for our graduate students. We really appreciate GSA for giving us this opportunity to be on the student interest board, so that we can have a greater platform, so that we can all move forward together as fellow Bruins. Following, I will hand over to our fantastic vice presidents, Juliana and Amy, to go over what events we have done over the past year. And thank you very much for this opportunity. Let me hand it over first to Juliana. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Juliana. So I will be talking a little bit about the events that we've hosted in the past year to kind of show you what our purpose is as a student group and how we can best serve UCLA students. So one of these events or kinds of events that we host are these networking events where we help current UCLA grad students build new connections with working individuals currently working in the industry. So an example of this is an event we hosted in March in collaboration with UCLA GSA as well as the UCLA Career Center. We hosted the largest on-campus alumni event on record since our club's inception. And here we invited a UCLA alum, Dr. Ian Coley, who currently works as a consultant at Boston Consulting Group, or BCG. And we had record attendance. Over 60 UCLA graduate students attended across multiple departments, across multiple schools. And this kind of event really served as a special and rare opportunity for current UCLA grad students to gain insight, learn more about this new career path, but also get insight from someone who is currently working in the field, but has also come from a non-traditional background, having transitioned during his postdoc after receiving his PhD. And I just want to highlight that this kind of event was only made possible through GSA funding, as we had multiple costs associated with marketing, food and drink for all the attendees, reimbursing Dr. Coley for his time. And the other kind of event that we host is more informational events to help Bruins understand what consulting is and also form more of a basis where they can prepare to enter the field. So another event that we hosted in collaboration with USC's ADCC chapter was this Consulting 101 event. It was a virtual introductory event about consulting that was held in June. And here we also had very, very high attendance. Over 100 graduate students across UCLA and USC attended this event. And I think we just want to highlight that in the light of this changing job market, consulting, interest in consulting is at an all-time high. And students, regardless of your background, can really benefit from learning more about this field. And
Okay. And then our most, also I'm Amy. I'm the director of finance, but I'm also going to be serving, I was serving on the ADCC board last year, and I will be serving for this upcoming year. And our most recent event was the largest consulting networking event in Southern California so far. And it was in collaboration with USC, Caltech, UCSD, and BCLA. And it was basically an event that drew over 150 plus graduate students across all schools. And we got to meet some really cool speakers from industry. A partner from the Deci Bio consulting firm came in to speak as well. And overall, it was just a really great networking opportunity. And yeah. And then for this upcoming year, Andy will be stepping down as president, and then Juliana will be taking on the president role, and I'll be taking on VP, and then we are both starting recruitment next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, do we have questions or comments from the GSA forum before we make a motion to vote? Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, is there a motion to vote on approving the entry of the ADCC into the Student Interest Board? Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Okay. All right, the motion has been motioned and seconded. Those in favor of approving the entry of the ADCC into the Student Interest Board, please raise your hand. Okay, please lower your hands. Okay, those against the approval, please raise your hand. Okay, those that abstain from the vote, please raise your hand. All right, with that, the motion passes. Okay. That covers, oh, let's see, we have something in the chat. My apologies. Great. Okay. So with that, that covers everything for the agenda today. Do we have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion
to adjourn.
Great. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Wonderful. No, not everyone all at once, please. Okay, motion and seconded. Those in favor of adjourning, please raise your hand. Okay, please lower your hands. Those against, please raise your hand. Okay. Those that abstain, please raise your hand. All right. And with that, the motion passes. The meeting is adjourned. And please use the rest of this time to get to know your fellow delegates and enjoy the rest of your evening. Or if you want a football ticket, yes. If you are in person, please come see Naomi Hammonds. And if not, enjoy the rest of your evening.